You're about to hear something that will shake everything you think you know about life after death. The truth isn't what you expect, and it's been hidden, waiting for the exact moment the universe decides you're ready for it. Death? It's not the end. It's not even close to what you've been taught. But you won't see this until your mind can stretch beyond the conventional. The rules of existence aren't what they seem, and the afterlife is just one small part of a much larger puzzle. You've been living in a world of illusions, believing the end of life is where the journey stops. Get ready to uncover what's been lurking in the shadows of existence, concealed by a cosmic force, only revealing itself when the time is right. The moment of your awakening is not far off. And when it hits, you won't just see the truth. You'll experience it in every fiber of your being. The universe doesn't hand out secrets lightly, but you've been called. So, are you ready to discover the truth that's been hidden from you? If so, type, "I'm ready," in the comments and let the universe know you're open to the awakening. Stick around till the end. This audiobook holds 8 transformative chapters, and the last 2 are absolutely crucial. You won't want to miss them. Segment 1. Beyond the Veil, the Truth. You're not meant to see, yet beyond the veil that separates the living from the afterlife lies a mysterious realm of unseen forces, energies, and truths. This veil, an energetic barrier, exists not as a physical obstruction, but as a conscious boundary set in place by the universe itself. It is a line between worlds that remains deliberately concealed from our immediate perception. Its purpose is not to punish or withhold knowledge, but to protect and guide. The human mind, while capable of extraordinary feats, is simply not equipped to understand the vastness of existence beyond the body until a certain readiness is achieved. The veil, then, is not a random or accidental phenomenon, but a deliberate construct, a protective shield crafted to ensure that when we encounter the truth of death, we do so with the necessary awareness and maturity to handle its profound implications. At the heart of this barrier lies the concept of frequency. Every thought, emotion, and experience we have is based on vibrational energy, a frequency that governs our perception of reality. When we are living in the physical world, our consciousness operates within certain frequencies, tightly bound to our senses and the material world. The struggle to comprehend life after death then arises from this limitation of perception. Our brains are tuned to the frequencies of life, grounded in the tangible world of touch, sight, and sound. Death, on the other hand, exists in a realm that operates at a different frequency, one that transcends the physical. The difficulty in grasping what happens beyond death is therefore not a flaw in our ability to understand, but rather a consequence of the natural barriers set by the universe. These barriers are intended to prevent us from becoming overwhelmed by truths we are not yet ready to comprehend. The universe, it seems, holds its own sense of timing, deciding when and how individuals can access the hidden knowledge of life beyond death. This cosmic weight is not arbitrary, nor is it a matter of fate in the traditional sense. It is the result of a delicate balancing act where the universe determines the right moment for each individual to come face to face with these profound truths. Why is it not revealed to everyone immediately? The answer lies in the soul's journey and its readiness to handle the vastness of existence. The threshold for understanding is not a fixed point, but a fluid process. Until one reaches this threshold, the understanding of life after death remains veiled, locked away behind the curtain of cosmic timing, the moment of unveiling, does not come when we demand it, but when our personal evolution, experiences, and spiritual growth allow us to perceive it. Further complicating this process is the presence of secret architects who govern the transition between life and death. These beings, or perhaps energies, are responsible for guiding souls from the physical realm to the afterlife, yet their roles are carefully concealed. These architects are not meant to be understood in the conventional sense, for their influence is not about direct interaction. Rather, they operate at a subtle level, shaping the flow of consciousness as it passes from life to death. Their presence remains hidden because their work is not for human comprehension. They exist in a realm beyond our senses, and their purpose is to facilitate transitions in a way that honors the natural order of existence. These architects are the unseen hands that ensure each soul's journey is unique, meaningful, and aligned with its higher purpose. The timeline of awareness plays a critical role in how the truth about the afterlife is revealed. Most individuals remain unaware of the processes of death, not because of ignorance, but because their awakening occurs at specific moments. These moments are not random, they are moments of personal transformation, where the individual is ready to experience or understand a deeper truth. It could be a brush with death, a profound spiritual awakening, or an extraordinary experience that shifts one's perspective of reality. These are the triggers that set the stage for a greater awareness of the afterlife. Until such a moment arrives, the individual may remain fully immersed in the physical world, with no awareness or understanding of the deeper forces at play. This awakening, however, is not an event that happens for everyone, and it may not occur in the same way for every person. The timing of this awareness is as individual as the soul itself, influenced by one's spiritual path, level of consciousness, and readiness to perceive what lies beyond the veil. In the end, the veil is not a punishment, but a protective mechanism designed to ensure that we encounter the truth of life after death only when we are ready. The universe, through its intricate systems of frequency, timing, and hidden guidance, ensures that these truths are revealed to us in a way that aligns with our personal growth. This process is as much about the soul's evolution as it is about the expansion of consciousness. Understanding death and the afterlife is not something that can be grasped through simple intellectual comprehension. It is an experience, a realization that unfolds gradually as the individual's awareness shifts and expands. Until then, the veil remains firmly in place, guiding us toward the moment when we are truly ready to see what lies beyond. Segment 2. The Silent Witness. Wutwat. What happens to your consciousness beyond the physical realm? The moment physical death occurs, something profound takes place in the depths of consciousness. It's a transformation so subtle, yet so vast that it often escapes human comprehension. In the instant that the body ceases to function, it's not the end of awareness, but rather the beginning of a new state of being. What many perceive as the end of consciousness, an irreversible loss of awareness, is in reality an awakening. This awakening is not a dramatic event or an explosion of insight, but a gentle shift. The consciousness, which had once been anchored in the material world, is now freed from its physical constraints. In this state, there's no sudden jolt or shock. Rather, it's as if a door quietly opens, leading to a completely different dimension of existence. The awareness that had been tied to the body is now free to expand, exploring new realms and possibilities. The idea that consciousness ends with the body is an illusion, as what truly happens is a shift into a different plane of existence, where the essence of self is more fluid and boundless than ever before. One of the most profound aspects of this shift is the dissolution of the ego. For much of life, the ego serves as a guiding force, constantly shaping how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. It is the part of our consciousness that defines boundaries, establishes identities, and creates the illusion of separateness. However, at the moment of death, the ego's grip weakens and eventually dissolves. This isn't a painful or catastrophic event, but rather a natural process where the false identity we've built up over a lifetime begins to fall away. The ego, which had previously defined our sense of individuality, becomes irrelevant in the face of the boundless nature of pure consciousness. With the ego no longer standing in the way, the true essence of the self emerges, an awareness that is expansive, unencumbered, and deeply connected to all of existence. It is as though the false layers we've clung to for so long are gently peeled away, revealing the pure consciousness that was always there, but hidden beneath the surface. This experience is not a dramatic realization, but a quiet, serene unfolding of the self in its most essential form. As the ego dissolves, the perception of time, space, and even the concept of self undergoes a radical transformation. No longer anchored to the limitations of the physical world, consciousness experiences reality in a completely new way. The linear progression of time, so ingrained in our earthly existence, loses its relevance. There's no past to dwell on, no future to anticipate, only the present moment, an infinite now that stretches far beyond the confines of the body. Time becomes fluid, malleable, and unstructured. Similarly, the concept of space, so central to our daily lives, begins to dissolve. What once felt like distinct locations and distances between objects now fades away, replaced by a sense of boundless, interconnected unity. The self, too, is no longer confined to a singular, defined identity. Rather, consciousness experiences a shift in which individuality merges into a greater whole, where the boundaries between self and the rest of existence are blurred. The familiar sense of I that we identify with on Earth begins to dissipate, replaced by an expansive awareness that encompasses all. This shift is not something that can be fully understood or described in earthly terms. It must be experienced to be truly known. Another significant aspect of this transition is the fate of memories and identity. The memories that were once housed within the body, tied to specific events, places, and people, don't simply vanish with death. The physical body may disintegrate, but the essence of those memories, their emotional and energetic imprints, remain. However, they do not retain the same form they had when tied to the body. Instead of being experienced as linear, discrete moments in time, they transform into a more expansive understanding. The sense of self that was previously constructed through these memories also undergoes a transformation. Rather than seeing them as a series of isolated events, they merge into a broader, more integrated awareness. This is not to say that the memories themselves are lost, but rather that their significance shifts. The memories, once tied to a personal, individual narrative, become part of a larger tapestry, a flow of consciousness that is not limited by the confines of the body or time. This shift allows the individual to experience their life, not as a fragmented series of moments, but as a unified whole, deeply connected to the flow of existence itself. As consciousness transitions beyond the physical, it enters a realm that operates according to the principles of quantum reality. In this space, the usual rules of time, space, and form no longer apply. The quantum bridge, as it's often referred to, is the passage through which consciousness navigates after death, freed from the restrictions of linear time and the physical realm. In this state, consciousness is not bound by the traditional concepts of beginning and end. There is no fixed trajectory, no predetermined path. Instead, consciousness moves fluidly through the quantum realm, able to access multiple dimensions and realities simultaneously. This quantum nature of existence allows for a far more expansive experience, where the boundaries between what was, what is, and what could be blur into one vast field of potential. The soul is not confined to a single linear path, but is able to explore multiple possibilities, free from the constraints of earthly existence. This experience is not a chaotic or disorienting one, but rather an organic flow, where consciousness intuitively navigates through the quantum realm with a profound sense of clarity and purpose. It is in this boundless, unstructured space that the soul is able to fully comprehend its true nature and its connection to the universe at large. The quantum bridge offers a form of existence that transcends the limits of physicality, where the soul is no longer confined by the body, but is free to explore the infinite possibilities of the universe. Segment 3. The real forces at play during death. The transition from life to death is not a solitary journey. Though many may view death as a final act, it is far from an isolated experience. There are invisible guides, beings, energies, or forces that assist in this profound process. These guides are not readily visible to human perception, but their presence is felt on an energetic level. These forces work behind the scenes, ensuring that the soul makes its transition with care, providing guidance, support, and a sense of safety as it moves from the physical realm to the next stage of existence. These entities do not intervene in the traditional sense. They are not physical beings that appear before you, offering direct counsel. Instead, their presence is subtle and felt on a deeper level, influencing the flow of energy that surrounds the soul during the transition. These guides are essential to the process, helping to ease the way forward without disrupting the natural flow of death. Their roles are often misunderstood or overlooked, as the human eye is unable to perceive them. However, their work is crucial in assisting the soul to shed its earthly constraints and move into the unknown with guidance and purpose. The way each soul experiences this transition is also deeply influenced by the concept of cosmic resonance, the unique frequency at which a soul vibrates. Every individual carries a specific frequency, an energetic signature that resonates with the cosmos. This frequency dictates not only the course of one's life, but also how they move through death. Souls with a higher frequency, often those who have lived in harmony with their spiritual purpose, tend to experience a smoother transition. These souls may move through death with ease, entering the next stage of existence with clarity and a sense of peace. Their resonance with the cosmic forces allows for a gentle unfolding, where the process of death is almost effortless, as if the universe itself is aligning to ease their path. On the other hand, souls with a lower frequency may experience a more turbulent transition, with challenges along the way. These challenges are not punishments, but are simply reflective of the energy they carry, requiring them to align more closely with the greater universal rhythm. This difference in experiences is not about judgment, but rather about the vibrational resonance that each soul carries and how that vibration interacts with the forces guiding them through the afterlife. As the soul moves through death, it is also guided by what could be described as energetic pathways, or maps. These maps are invisible to human perception, yet they are an essential part of the transition process, just as a traveler needs a map to navigate through unknown territories. The soul requires these energetic pathways to guide it through the realms beyond physical life. These maps are not rigid or predetermined, but instead they are dynamic, personalized to the soul's unique journey. They provide direction without forcing the soul onto a fixed path. These energetic pathways are created by the collective consciousness of the universe and the individual resonance of the soul. They act as invisible highways, guiding the soul through the afterlife with an intuitive sense of direction. The soul does not need to actively search for these paths. They unfold naturally as the soul is ready to move through the process. Only when the time is right and the soul is prepared do these paths fully manifest. These maps are a form of guidance that transcends human understanding, working on a level of awareness far beyond the conscious mind. One of the most fascinating aspects of the death transition is the concept of universal sentience, the sentient forces of the universe that guide the process of death. These forces are not separate from the universe, but are the very fabric of existence itself, infused within all things. The universe is alive, aware, and conscious, and it participates actively in the transition of the soul. These sentient forces are not external entities. They are the universe's way of guiding each soul with care, personalizing the experience to fit the unique needs of each individual. The cosmic forces know the soul's essence and its purpose, and they facilitate the transition in a way that aligns with its true nature. The death process is not a mechanical or impersonal event, but a deeply personal experience, shaped by the very essence of the soul and the universe's conscious guidance. This universal sentience ensures that every soul's journey is unique, offering tailored support that helps the soul move into the next phase of existence. This process may be imperceptible to the physical senses, but it operates on a much deeper, more profound level. Lastly, the energetic signature of an individual's life echoes into the afterlife. This energetic signature is the sum of a person's experiences, emotions, thoughts, and actions throughout their lifetime. It is not something that disappears with death, but instead leaves an imprint on the soul. This signature shapes the soul's understanding of death and its progression in the afterlife. The energetic signature is like a ripple that continues to reverberate through the universe, influencing the soul's path and guiding its next steps. It is a reflection of the life lived, holding within it the lessons learned, the challenges faced, and the growth achieved. As the soul moves forward, this energetic imprint provides valuable insights into the soul's evolution, helping it navigate the afterlife with awareness and understanding. The soul may continue to learn and grow from the echoes of its life, using the energy of its experiences to propel itself into the next stage of existence. This ongoing process ensures that the soul's journey is not static, but rather an evolving, dynamic experience that continues long after death. The energy of life does not fade, but becomes an integral part of the soul's journey through the realms beyond the physical world. Segment 4. The moment death shifts the soul's course. At the moment of death, the soul experiences a profound shift, one that marks its release from the physical world and the limitations it imposes. This shift happens in an instant, where the soul is liberated from the confines of the body and enters a new state of existence. The transition is not gradual, but rather a sudden transformation that can feel like a rebirth into pure awareness. For the first time, the soul is free from the constraints of flesh and form, and in that freedom, it can experience existence in its most raw and unfiltered state. There is no longer the need for physical senses or material attachments. Instead, the soul is immersed in a boundless awareness, experiencing the world around it in a way that transcends the limitations of the physical realm. This moment of liberation is a profound release, one that brings with it an overwhelming sense of freedom and an expansion of consciousness. No longer bound by the heaviness of the physical body, the soul is able to expand beyond the familiar, embracing the vastness of existence in an entirely new way. As the soul is freed from the physical world, it is flooded with a surge of cosmic knowledge. This knowledge is not learned through study or experience, but is innate and immediate, flowing into the soul's consciousness in an all-encompassing wave. It is as though the soul suddenly remembers everything it had once known and understands the very fabric of the universe. This influx of knowledge is overwhelming in its magnitude, yet it feels familiar to the soul, as though it has always been a part of its essence, waiting to be remembered. In this moment, the soul is able to perceive the interconnectedness of all things, understanding the underlying unity that binds all existence together. It's as if the veil of separation has lifted, and the soul can see the bigger picture, the intricate design that weaves together every element of the cosmos. This surge of cosmic knowledge is not just intellectual understanding, but a deep, intrinsic knowing that transcends human comprehension. The soul does not need to ask questions or seek answers. It simply knows, instantly and completely, the truths of existence. This moment of profound understanding marks the beginning of a new journey for the soul, one where it can navigate through the afterlife with a greater sense of purpose and clarity. However, while the soul is flooded with universal knowledge, it does not fully comprehend it all at once. The process of understanding is staggered, unfolding over time as the soul's frequency adjusts to its new state of being. The soul's perception and understanding evolve in stages, as it gradually attunes itself to its higher frequency. This process is not a linear progression, but a rhythm that flows in harmony with the soul's readiness to integrate new knowledge. The soul's frequency must shift, and with each adjustment, a deeper level of understanding is revealed. It is as though the soul is gradually awakening to the full scope of its transformation. At first, the influx of knowledge may seem overwhelming, but as the soul adjusts, it begins to absorb the wisdom in a way that is more digestible and integrated. The experience of this process is not rushed. It unfolds naturally, allowing the soul the time it needs to expand and evolve. This staggered process of understanding is essential, for it ensures that the soul is able to fully absorb the knowledge it receives and integrate it into its new state of being. In this new state, the soul experiences an overwhelming sense of communion with the entire universe. The soul no longer feels separate from the world around it, but instead experiences everything as one. There is no division between the self and the universe. They are inextricably linked. This interconnectedness is not a conceptual understanding, but a visceral, lived experience. The soul feels itself as a part of everything, every star, every being, every vibration. The boundaries that once existed between the self and the external world dissolve, and the soul understands itself as a component of the greater whole. There is no longer any sense of isolation or separation, as the soul recognizes that all is interconnected. This communion is both expansive and intimate, as the soul feels an immense sense of belonging within the universe. It is as though the soul is finally returning home, where it was always meant to be, where it has always been. The experience is one of unity and harmony, where the soul recognizes its place in the grand design of existence. One of the most striking changes that occurs after death is the separation from time. In the physical world, time is a constant, ever-flowing force that dictates the rhythm of life. It is measured, structured, and linear, with a beginning, middle, and end. However, in the afterlife, time no longer functions in the same way. It becomes fluid, malleable, and distorted, no longer bound by the constraints of linear progression. In this new state of existence, the soul's experience of time is radically different. The past, present, and future are not separate entities, but are experienced as a unified whole. Time does not feel like a linear journey from one point to the next. Instead, it flows in all directions, merging past and future into a singular moment. The soul is no longer confined to the clock, to the tick-tock of hours and minutes. Time loses its hold, and the soul is free to experience reality without the limitations of temporal constraints. This shift in the perception of time profoundly alters the experience of death. What once seemed like an ending, a finality, now feels like an eternal present. The soul is no longer bound by the passage of time, and in this freedom, it can explore the vastness of the afterlife with a new sense of liberation and possibility. Time, as we understand it, becomes irrelevant in this new state of existence, and the soul is able to exist beyond its constraints. Segment 5. The Duality of Life and Death. How the two realms interact. The physical and spiritual realms are two parallel realities that coexist in a delicate balance, each shaping the experience of life and death. These realms, though distinct in nature, are intertwined and constantly interact, though this interaction is often hidden from human perception. While the physical world is governed by time, space, and the laws of nature, the spiritual realm operates on a different level, where the laws are more fluid and interconnected. These two realms are not separate entities, but rather two sides of the same coin existing simultaneously, yet operating in different frequencies of existence. The physical realm, where human beings experience their lives, is limited by the senses and consciousness that are bound to the material world. The spiritual realm, on the other hand, is vast and boundless, and although it exists alongside the physical world, it remains hidden from our direct perception until a certain moment. It is as though both realms are layered over one another like parallel dimensions, but it is only when the veil between them is lifted through death or other spiritual experiences that the connection becomes visible. In death, the soul shifts from the physical reality into the spiritual realm, and this transition reveals the deep interconnection between the two worlds, which remain largely invisible until the moment of transformation. Humans are generally unable to perceive the spiritual realm during their lifetime because the frequency of their consciousness is attuned to the physical world. Our senses, minds, and bodies are focused on the material, and the vibrations that govern the physical plane obscure the spiritual energies that coexist around us. It is as though there is an energetic filter between the two realms, one that prevents us from seeing the spiritual world, even though it is always present. This filter is a result of the limitations imposed by the body and the mind, which are conditioned to interact only with the material world. Most individuals live their entire lives unaware of the subtle energies surrounding them, and the spiritual realm remains hidden out of their reach. This is not to say that the spiritual world is inaccessible. Rather, it is a matter of perception. At the moment of death, however, this veil is lifted, and the soul is no longer bound by the physical senses. In this state, the soul's perception shifts, allowing it to experience the spiritual realm in its entirety. The shift from physical to spiritual existence is akin to awakening from a dream, where the soul suddenly becomes aware of the deeper layers of reality that were always present but unseen. This change in perception opens up new dimensions of experience, where the soul can begin to comprehend the vast, interconnected nature of existence. Life's energy does not simply dissipate upon death. Instead, the energy that was once contained within the physical body continues to persist beyond death, shaping the spiritual environment in which the soul resides. The energy that a person generates throughout their life, whether through thoughts, emotions, actions, or intentions, remains as an energetic imprint, leaving behind a kind of residue that affects the afterlife experience. This energy forms the foundation for the spiritual environment. The soul enters after death. It is as though the soul carries with it a unique vibrational signature that defines its existence in the spiritual realm. This energy does not simply vanish. It continues to influence the soul's experience of the afterlife, shaping its journey and interactions with the universe. The way a person lived, whether in harmony or discord, love or fear, determines the quality and nature of the energy they leave behind. This energy affects the soul's environment in the afterlife, creating a space that mirrors the energy patterns and vibrations of the individual's life. The continuity of life's energy beyond the body emphasizes the idea that the soul's journey does not end with death, but continues, carrying with it the energetic footprint of everything that has come before. The soul's vibrational frequency plays a critical role in the afterlife experience. Just as the physical world operates on a range of vibrations, the spiritual realm also functions according to specific frequencies. These frequencies determine the soul's connections to the universe and its ability to interact with other spiritual entities. When a person dies, their soul enters the afterlife, and its vibrational frequency directly influences how it experiences this transition. A soul with a high frequency, one that is aligned with love, light, and compassion, will experience a smoother, more harmonious transition, able to connect more easily with the spiritual world. Conversely, a soul with a lower vibrational frequency, one filled with fear, guilt, or unresolved emotions, may struggle to navigate the afterlife, experiencing confusion or disorientation. The vibrational frequency of the soul acts like a key that unlocks different realms within the spiritual world. Just as different instruments play different notes based on their frequency, the soul's frequency determines the nature of the afterlife experience. This resonance can influence the soul's connection with spiritual beings, the clarity of its perception, and its overall experience of peace or unrest in the spiritual realm. The vibrational frequency of the soul then becomes a guiding force in how it progresses and evolves after death. The interaction between the physical and spiritual realms is not a one-way flow. While the spiritual realm influences the soul's journey after death, there is also a subtle influence from the spiritual realm into the physical world, and spirits or energies from the afterlife can subtly influence the living world, often without human awareness. These influences may not always be direct or obvious, but are felt on a deeper, more intuitive level. Many people experience unexplained sensations, sudden insights, or feelings of connection to loved ones who have passed away. And these are often the result of subtle interactions between the realms. Spirits may reach out to the living, offering guidance, comfort, or even a sense of closure, though their presence is often imperceptible. These influences can manifest in a variety of ways, through dreams, synchronicities, or fleeting moments of deep knowing. While these connections are often felt on an emotional or energetic level, they are rarely seen in a physical sense. Spirits, energies, and forces from the afterlife tend to remain hidden from human sight, their presence felt more than seen. This is not a random occurrence, but a deliberate choice by the spiritual entities. The subtlety of their influence is meant to allow the living to maintain their own path and purpose without interference. It is as if the spirits from the afterlife serve as guides and protectors, quietly shaping the course of events in the physical world without making their presence known. The connection between the realms is continuous and ongoing, though it often goes unnoticed by those in the physical world. The spiritual realm, while invisible, continuously interacts with and shapes the lives of those still living. Segment 6. Soul Contracts. The unwritten agreements that guide our life and death before a soul enters the physical world. It engages in a process of pre-life planning, where agreements are made that will shape the course of its existence, including the timing, manner, and experience of its death. These agreements, often referred to as soul contracts, are created by the soul in collaboration with higher spiritual beings, guides, or universal energies. These contracts are not set in stone, but are crafted with the understanding that they will provide the soul with the exact experiences necessary for growth, evolution, and fulfillment of its purpose. In pre-life planning, the soul has a chance to align its desires with the lessons it wishes to learn, and these agreements dictate many aspects of its journey, including the circumstances of its physical life, challenges, relationships, and ultimately how it will depart from the physical realm. The soul, in its wisdom, knows that certain experiences are needed to further its understanding and alignment with the greater universal truth, and through these soul contracts, the framework for life and death is established before the soul is born into the material world. The universe, with its vast and intricate design, operates through an underlying principle of order and connection. Within this structure, the divine blueprint is created, which outlines the specific soul contracts each soul enters into. This divine blueprint is a cosmic map, carefully designed to guide the soul through its life journey, ensuring that each individual's path aligns with a greater purpose. The divine blueprint not only determines the nature of a soul's birth and experiences in the physical world, but also dictates the timing and circumstances of its death. Every moment, every encounter, every challenge is a carefully orchestrated piece of the puzzle that leads the soul toward its ultimate fulfillment. The timing of death, too, is woven into this blueprint. It is not a random occurrence, nor is it controlled entirely by external forces. Rather, it is a moment chosen by the soul in conjunction with the universe's greater design. This moment is an essential part of the soul's journey, a culmination of the lessons learned and the experiences gained. As the soul progresses through its physical life, the blueprint unfolds, bringing the individual to the point where they are prepared to transition from the physical realm. The divine blueprint is not static. It adapts and shifts according to the soul's growth and its alignment with its purpose. Each soul, therefore, has its own unique blueprint that shapes its path and its eventual departure from the material world. Some souls, in their pre-life agreements, make the decision to depart suddenly or unexpectedly. This choice, though often bewildering or difficult for the living to understand, is a deeply spiritual and intentional aspect of the soul's contract. In these instances, the soul may have made an agreement to leave at a specific moment, not to follow a typical life trajectory, but to fulfill a higher purpose, or to serve a divine plan. A sudden departure can be a catalyst for transformation, not only for the soul leaving, but also for the individuals and energies connected to it. The soul's decision to exit unexpectedly may be a part of a greater cosmic design that facilitates specific shifts in the collective or personal consciousness. It may also be a choice that allows the soul to complete a task, convey a message, or bring about a certain change in the spiritual or material world. These sudden departures are often seen as events that transcend the individual's physical life and become part of a larger, interconnected plan that impacts the broader web of existence. While these moments can be shocking and difficult for those left behind, they carry with them deeper spiritual truths that may not be immediately apparent, but which will unfold over time. Guides, often unseen to the physical eye, play an essential role in enforcing soul contracts. These guides, which may include angels, spiritual beings, or other higher entities, are present with the soul throughout its journey, helping it navigate the process of fulfilling its pre-life agreements. From the moment of birth, these guides are present, gently nudging the soul toward its destined experiences and providing support, guidance, and protection. When the time comes for the soul to transition from the physical realm, the guides are instrumental in assisting with the death process, ensuring that the soul is ready and prepared to make its journey into the afterlife. They provide comfort and reassurance, helping the soul let go of its earthly attachments and embracing the next stage of existence. In the afterlife, the guides continue to play a significant role, helping the soul understand and integrate the experiences it had in the physical world. These guides are not there to dictate or control the soul's path, but to provide the support needed for the soul to navigate its destiny with grace and understanding. Through their assistance, the soul can fulfill its contract and move closer to the ultimate fulfillment of its divine purpose. In some instances, the soul may reach a point where it chooses to release or change its pre-life agreements. This decision to break free from a soul contract is a powerful one, as it represents the soul's desire to evolve beyond the limitations of the original agreement. The process of breaking free from a contract does not mean abandoning the soul's purpose or rejecting its growth. Rather, it signifies a shift in the soul's understanding and its alignment with the greater cosmic plan. The soul may choose to change its path or transition in a different way than originally planned, based on the lessons it has learned and the new insights it has gained. This is a moment of spiritual liberation, where the soul takes ownership of its journey and makes conscious decisions about how it wishes to continue. The act of breaking free from a contract can lead to profound transformations in the soul's evolution, creating a ripple effect that impacts its future experiences and its relationship with the universe. It is an expression of the soul's sovereignty and its ability to align with the divine flow in a way that is true to its essence. When the soul makes this decision, it opens up new possibilities for growth and exploration, embarking on a path that is uniquely its own, guided by a deeper understanding of the self and the universe. Segment 7. The Divine Timing of Death. Why some know when it's coming. There is a mysterious aspect of death that sometimes manifests through the awareness of those nearing its arrival. Certain individuals experience a deep inner knowing, a quiet but undeniable understanding that their time in the physical world is drawing to a close. This awareness, while inexplicable to many, can often be attributed to what can be called the cosmic clock of death. The cosmic forces that govern life's rhythms, often beyond human comprehension, work in conjunction with the individual's soul contract and spiritual journey. These forces can sometimes gently reveal the impending transition, offering the person an opportunity to prepare themselves mentally and spiritually for what is to come. In many cases, this awareness doesn't arise from any tangible signs or external sources, but rather from an innate understanding that has been embedded deep within the person's consciousness. It's as though the soul, in its wisdom, can tune into the cosmic flow and recognize when the time has arrived to complete its earthly mission. This deep, unseen connection to the cosmos is an integral part of the grand design, where everything, including the end of a life, occurs according to divine timing. Often, these realizations are not gradual, but come in flashes of clarity, sudden moments of insight when the person fully comprehends that their journey is nearing its end. These moments of clarity can be triggered by various events or experiences, yet they often feel like a divine revelation rather than mere coincidence. It may happen in a quiet moment of solitude, a conversation with a loved one, or even while reflecting on one's life. The realization comes not from a sense of fear or panic, but rather a peaceful recognition, an almost serene knowing that transcends the boundaries of ordinary thought. These flashes of insight are not always obvious to those around the individual. Yet to the one experiencing them, they feel like a profound truth that emerges from deep within. There's a sense that this awareness is a part of a divine design, a part of the greater plan that the individual soul has been following all along. In these moments, the person may feel connected to something larger than themselves, as if they are part of a much grander and more intricate universe that extends beyond their earthly life. This awareness of their imminent passing is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a spiritual recognition, something that transcends time and space, and it serves as a final step in their soul's preparation for transition. While some individuals are granted this clarity, the universe, in its infinite wisdom, decides which aspects of death should be revealed to the living. Not all souls are given the same level of awareness or insight regarding their departure from the physical realm. The reasons behind why certain individuals come to know the timing of their death, while others do not, are tied to the nature of their spiritual evolution and their readiness to face the inevitable. The universe, in its role as the keeper of divine wisdom, determines which secrets should be unveiled to the soul based on its level of growth and preparedness. For some, the timing of death may remain a mystery until the very moment it occurs, while for others, a sense of readiness unfolds over time, allowing them to make peace with the approaching transition. The decision to reveal the timing of death is never arbitrary. It is based on a deep spiritual understanding of the individual's path and their readiness to embrace the final phase of their existence. The more evolved the soul, the more likely it is to receive this awareness, as it is considered a gift that allows for a smoother, more conscious transition. This preparation for transition is often imperceptible to those around the individual. On the surface, life may seem to carry on as normal, but beneath this exterior, the soul is going through an intense and profound process of preparation. The preparation for death is not merely physical or emotional. It is spiritual in nature, a deepening connection with the divine and the understanding that the journey is about to change. During this process, the soul may begin to let go of earthly attachments, releasing the need for material possessions, relationships, or even the identity it has carried throughout life. This deep preparation process is a silent one, unfolding quietly within the individual's consciousness, where they may come to terms with the inevitable and make peace with the life they have lived. This preparation does not always involve a conscious choice or decision, but is more of an intuitive process, guided by the soul's natural instinct for completion. It is a process of inner reconciliation, a final stage of understanding that allows the individual to embrace their transition with grace and acceptance. For some, this inner preparation may involve profound moments of introspection, while for others, it may come in the form of dreams, visions, or feelings of heightened spiritual awareness. This process is as unique as each soul, tailored to meet the needs of the individual in their final days. The timing of death, though often viewed as an end, is intricately connected to the soul's evolution. It is not simply a matter of when life ends, but of when the soul is ready to complete the lessons it came to learn and move forward to its next phase of existence. Death, in this context, is seen as an essential component of spiritual growth. The timing of death is tied to the soul's progress in its journey, with each life stage offering new opportunities for learning, growth, and self-realization. The timing is a cosmic decision deeply linked to the soul's readiness to move beyond the limitations of the physical body and continue its evolution in the spiritual realm. Just as a flower blossoms at the right moment, the soul too knows when it is time to bloom in its final transition. The lessons the soul has yet to learn, the wisdom it has yet to gain, and the connections it has yet to make are all factors in determining when the soul will leave the earthly plane. This divine timing is not random or based on external factors alone, but is woven into the fabric of the soul's purpose. Every soul's journey is unique, and so too is the timing of its departure. Whether the death occurs in youth or old age, suddenly or slowly, the timing is always in alignment with the soul's highest purpose and spiritual evolution. Segment 8. The final unfolding. The true nature of life after death. When death occurs, an extraordinary shift happens, a profound experience where the familiar concepts of time and space seem to vanish. In the moments after death, Everything that once tethered the soul to the physical world fades away. The linear nature of time, which has governed the soul's journey throughout life, dissolves into a vast and expansive sense of eternity. The soul no longer experiences time as a beginning and an end. Instead, it finds itself in a space beyond any confines of measurement or restriction. This moment of transition is not merely a crossing from life to death, but a liberation from the limitations of the human experience. There is a sense of timelessness that envelops the soul, creating a pure, unbound experience where it exists as an eternal presence. The soul becomes aware of the interconnectedness of all things, no longer confined by the framework of physical existence. This moment is often described as a peaceful release, as the soul recognizes that it is part of something much greater than what was previously understood in its earthly form. In this state, the soul is freed from the illusions that once defined its experiences, entering a realm where all that exists is unity, peace, and absolute freedom. As the soul moves beyond time and space, it begins the process of reintegration with Source, the original universal consciousness from which all things arise. This final step in the journey marks the soul's return to its divine origin. Here, there is no separation between the individual soul and the vast universal energy that encompasses all of existence. It is a reunion of sorts where the soul remembers its true nature and its connection to the Source. This process of merging with Source is not one of losing individuality, but rather one of remembering the eternal oneness that has always existed. In this reunion, the soul realizes that it has always been part of this vast, all-encompassing energy, and this realization fills it with a sense of peace, understanding, and wholeness. There is no longer a distinction between the self and the whole. The soul is both everything and nothing at the same time. This experience transcends words, as the pure consciousness that the soul becomes is beyond the ability to describe. It is a return to the essence of existence itself, where all things are known and all questions are answered in the stillness of pure being. Once the soul has merged with Source, the journey continues, though it takes on a different form. This is not the end of the soul's existence, but rather the beginning of an ongoing process of spiritual awakening. The merging with Source is not a final destination, but a transformative event that opens the door to an infinite journey. The soul, now united with the universal consciousness, continues to explore the depths of existence, moving through realms of awareness that go beyond earthly limitations. There is no fixed end to this journey, as it is an eternal process of growth, learning, and discovery. Even in the afterlife, the soul is still in a state of becoming, continuously unfolding in new ways. The infinite road ahead is one of limitless possibilities, where the soul continues to expand and evolve, even after leaving the physical body. This journey is not bound by time or space, as the soul has transcended these limitations. It is a process of awakening to new dimensions of existence, one that never truly ends but is always in a state of exploration and understanding. The soul may journey through different levels of consciousness, gaining new insights, learning new truths, and discovering deeper aspects of the divine that were previously unknown. The journey after death is not limited to the soul alone. It also has a profound impact on the living world. The legacy of life after death extends far beyond the moment of passing, leaving ripples throughout the cosmos. These ripples are the effects of a life lived, the energy and vibrations that continue to reverberate long after the soul has left the physical form. Every action, every thought, and every choice made during life creates a lasting imprint on the universe. This legacy is not always immediately visible, but its influence persists in subtle, often unseen ways. The people the individual interacted with, the spaces they inhabited, and the energy they shared all carry forward, continuing to affect the world even after the soul has transitioned. In this sense, life does not end with death, but continues to affect the living as the soul's energy remains part of the fabric of the universe. This legacy may manifest in the form of memories, lessons learned, or even the ripple effect of kindness and love that has touched others. The soul's influence on the world does not fade. It is transformed into a spiritual energy that continues to guide and inspire those still on earth, creating an eternal cycle of interconnectedness that spans both life and death. Living beyond physical death is a profound realization that becomes clear once the soul has passed from the material realm. It is the understanding that death does not signify an end, but rather a transformation into a deeper, more expansive state of being. While the physical body may decay, the essence of the individual, the soul, continues to exist in a different form. This realization brings about a profound sense of peace, as the soul understands that it is never truly lost, only transformed. The limitations of the human body, with all its frailties and imperfections, are no longer relevant in this new state of being. The soul is freed from the constraints of matter and is able to experience existence in a more expansive, limitless way. It can explore the realms of the spiritual world, connect with other souls, and continue to grow and evolve without the confines of physical existence. The soul's existence beyond death is not a static experience, but one that is fluid, dynamic, and full of possibility. It is an existence where the soul is no longer subject to the laws of time and space, but is instead part of a boundless, ever-evolving reality that is far greater than anything the physical world could offer. As we've journeyed through the mysteries of life, death, and the soul's true path, we've uncovered profound insights into the forces that guide our existence beyond the physical realm. From understanding the unseen guides that shape our transitions, to exploring how time and space dissolve after death, each chapter has revealed a deeper layer of truth about our eternal nature. Now it's your turn. Like this video, and the energy of alignment flows through you, confirming the truths we've explored together. Share this knowledge and you'll spread these vital revelations, inviting others to awaken to their own journey. And don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing, you unlock continuous access to the wisdom that transforms your understanding of the universe. Keep the cycle going. Like, share, and subscribe, and allow the transformation to unfold.